So welcome to another Four Questions, folks. I'm here with the legend that is Alfie Moore, former full-time policeman from Scunthorpe, I believe.
Still technically a cop.
Wow.
I'm actually still on a career break, so I can still go back with 3 months' notice.
Fantastic.
So that expires in 2 years, I think. So.
The people of Scunthorpe are breathing.
Standing by.
Yeah, they're like
standing by. Yeah.
They keep getting updates on the situation.
The criminals
yeah.
are relieved.
Yeah, the criminal network.
I've had one contact from the police, right?
Yeah.
Supposed to keep in touch with you.
Oh yeah.
And I've had one contact, and that was a Facebook message.
Yeah.
Saying that we've broken into your locker. I've got a key at home. We've broken into your locker. What do you want us to do with this stuff we've found? So they're still in touch with me.
That's hilarious. They've gone into your locker. Do you remember what was in your locker?
No, not really. It's a uniform and stuff, but it's a little bit of personal stuff that I'll never see again.
They were like
camaraderie.
Yeah, but they're like your travel suites. You ironically had your belongings stolen by the police. Now you're on the other side, man.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You're like Liam Neeson from Taken or something.
Yeah, probably got me Masonic ring.
So the four questions. So the first question, Alfie, is give us your favourite memory of comedy. Now, it can be the best gig or a certain time in comedy or a certain moment.
I would have to say it was the pilot recording of the Radio 4 show.
Brilliant.
Because they do it at the Studio Theatre in London.
Yeah. So it's called...
It's a Fair Cop.
It's a Fair Cop. It's Alfie's own series. Just been recommissioned as well, which is very exciting.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah. And I got the opportunity, which was a tremendous sort of break, to record a pilot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't commissioned, and the in-house comedy department at Radio 4 put some money up and said, there's something we'd like to show. Yeah. Come and write something and do a pilot, and we'll try and pitch it for you. And 300 people in this studio theatre. It's where they do the live lounge and they do all that.
Yeah, so
and I was absolutely petrified, thinking this is potentially, a nice break. And and they were so nice. They were so lovely, the audience, that they wouldn't let me fail. And every time I spoke to them, they were twice as funny as I were. And everything just clicked and worked, and I just stood there thinking, Thank you. That could have gone so wrong, and they were so nice.
So much riding on that, and they kind of knew it, but they were with you on it. They were like, we're part of this recording.
And they're really sharp, Radio 4. So they're trained. Funny. Yeah.
And the show was it's a half-hour show, isn't it? But did you do like a record an hour and then was it chopped down, or did you just go boom, boom?
I was on stage an hour and a half.
Wow.
I'd only got 30 minutes of the material I'd written, but they were just great, and I didn't want to get off stage, and it just went on and on and on, and I just, when I walked off stage, I was like, wow, they've got to commission that, and it was just like, so that's my favourite gig ever.
Oh yeah, if only they could all be like that.
Yeah.
My goodness. So that's the light side, the yin and yang. Worst memory of comedy.
Worst memory? Okay, that's an interesting one. You don't ask me about heckles in a bit, are you?
Well, it could be. In fact, you could do. Right, let's have your worst heckle.
And my worst memory. Yeah. I'm late to comedy, obviously, and
I know. You should start 20 minutes.
well into my 40s when I started comedy.
Yeah.
And the first time I did a comedy set was in a competition, and John Reid, promoter, he had a national competition. Oh. The middle acts do 10-minute spots each, and the audience vote one through. Yeah. And it got about sort of 7 or 8 clubs, and so this was quite a busy club. And it was £1,000 first prize to the winner.
Wow.
And I went to a comedy club for the first time in Scunthorpe with my missus, and they were running this competition in the middle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh. I said to him, can I be in there? Can I be in there? And he said, well, we're full up. He could see that I didn't know what I was talking about. He tried to cut me off the path. He said, no, we're full up. So I gave him my number. I said, well, if anybody drops out, will you let me know? Because I'd like to have a go at that comedy thing.
Love it.
And it wasn't like a new act competition. Some of these have been going years. I mean, it was officially a new act, but some of them have been going years.
Yeah.
So I gave him my phone number.
Yeah.
And a couple of weeks later, he rang me up and he said, somebody's dropped out.
Brilliant.
Of Louth tomorrow night. in Lincolnshire. Would you like to do the spot? I said, oh yeah. He said, have you got 10 minutes of material? I said, oh yeah. And I think he could tell I hadn't, because he said, I don't mean old jokes, I mean your own material. I said, oh yeah.
Don't worry about that.
So I booked the next day off work, right? So I went straight to the silence office and said, can I was a PC at the time. I said, can I have the next day off work? And he said, all right then. So I just stopped at home and I wrote material all day, and I kept ringing my mother. She's died years ago. I don't know why I said that. Kept ringing my wife up. She's like a mother to me.
Yeah, she's a Freudian there.
I kept saying, "Is this funny? Is this funny?" And she kept saying, "No, it's not funny. Stop."
Leave me alone.
I'm trying to work.
Stop calling me mum.
Stop calling me mother. She's dead. And then I was like a child. And so I went. So she came on. She came with me, and we drove to Louth. And a kid came up from London and been doing it years. I won't tell you his name, but he'd been doing it years. And I was competing against him, and I was petrified, and I was knocking the Stella's back, and he was ever so casual. And I remember saying to him, "Would you want to go first or second?" And he said, "I don't mind." And I'm like, "Oh my God,
how cool's this guy?"
And he knew the promoter, and he was like, "Yeah, it was a cool London." And he went on, he did all right, and then I went on and smashed it. My missus says it still says today it was my best ever gig. I can't remember anything I said, but just smashed it.
Wow.
And everyone was patting me back, and John Reed saying, "Where have you been playing really?" And I'm saying, "No, that was my first gig." And he wouldn't believe me, and I'm thinking, wow, this is so easy.
I'm a superstar.
What have I been doing? Why have I been doing this for years? I've been wasting my life. And then, so I did the next gig, 10-minute spot, in the next round of this competition, the quarterfinals or whatever. Absolutely same again. Just smashed it.
Oh, brilliant.
And I really patted me on the back and thinking, oh my God.
Is this all it is?
This is so easy. This is so easy. So then I'm in the semi-finals, and I thought, I didn't know you could do the same 10 minutes.
Same 10 minutes?
I wrote a different 10 minutes for 7 minutes. I thought, I best write another 10 minutes. So I booked myself into one of these open mic spots. So Gareth Irwin had an open mic night in Sheffield.
Yeah.
A nice night. And Abbott Hill Road. And I booked into that. And it's about 100 people in. And in I did one story the same in the first 10 minutes. I did a story about superheroes, and they weren't really superheroes. They were people I worked with. So it was like unreliable man and no sense of direction man. I introduced me to the story, and they got a laugh both times I did it.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing my new material in front of these 100 people. Yeah. And nobody's laughing, and I'm slowly starting to die on stage. No. This is my third gig after I've ripped it twice, and I didn't understand the rules of comedy. Yeah. And you and I both know now that if you go too far, it doesn't matter how funny you are after that. If you've crossed that line and they've written you off, then they'll never come back to you. Yeah, you've somehow, it's so hard to reset the audience and clear. So you can't let them slip away too much. Yeah. And I just stood there and let them slip away too much, thinking, it's all right, I've got my superhero story. Here we go, the big one. In the bank. That's always worked. And I've done 2 gigs. It's got 100% record. So I suddenly realised, and the promoter, Gareth Irwin's going like that. Is he? My missus is going like that. Come on, you're humiliating yourself, right? And so I thought, right, okay, I'll cut to my superhero story, and it died. And I introduced all my superheroes, where's no sense of direction man, where's hypochondriac man, and normally everyone got a laugh, it got silence. And I could feel beads of sweat forming, and suddenly sweat's pouring down my face. Oh, no. And I just froze, and I couldn't remember the next superhero. I couldn't remember my own name, and I just froze completely on stage, and there was just silence. And 100 faces looking back at me, and then somebody from the back shouted, it's the funniest heckle I've ever had in my life, still to this day, somebody from the back shouted, "Where's funny man?" And the whole room exploded with laughter, and I just put the mic back in the stand and just walked off in humiliation. That's almost like a sketch, So that was my experience of comedy. Absolutely smashed it when nobody would believe I wasn't experienced, and then one absolute
Wow,
death.
Just welcome to the...
And that was my first 3 gigs where I thought,
that's cool.
Might have been quite as easy as I thought.
And you
this is just sat home, drove home in silence, no radio, no speaking, just in shock.
And have you found that that's the rhythm now, too? And then
I've maintained that.
That's basically... It's consistent, if
anything. My third one tonight. Yeah. To have gone well this week, yeah.
I love it.
But isn't that comedy? I don't think you ever stop dying. And every time you get a bit cocky, as I did, and swagger on thinking, well, this will be all right, the audience can sense it.
It's that whole thing, that fresh audience don't care what happened last week. They want to see what have you got on this one, and it's
which
incredible.
Is great, isn't it? Because if we smashed it every time, we'd never edit, we'd get lazy. I mean, you see TV comedians who get on panel shows and then they try and do some live stuff, and you lose that edge, don't you? Unless you're out there sort of struggling sometimes, that you're not going to edit, you're not going to write, you're not going to keep sharp.
And that always, that was they'll remember that moment, because there's something. That was immortalised. Whoever you are out there,
it's going to be on the headstone. Funny man.
In a cape, because there's something about part of being a professional like this, you get danger money, really, and however good, TV comedy's really exploded as arena tours, but that's something that's part of the reason people pay to come out to a club like this. We're in Gainsborough, the Trinity Arts Centre here, but people come into a normal comedy club because it's like an ice sculpture. Once it's created, it goes, and that'll never be recreated again. You'll never have that in that.
And it lulls you into a false sense of security, because most average comedians can look good in front of a nice audience.
Yes.
We play some wonderful clubs where you walk in and say hello and everybody claps and cheers. And you're like, and you can get carried away with that.
You can,
you can get carried away and you think, wow, I've cracked it now.
Yeah.
But and then you play some rooms where you deliver that opening line and everybody just stares back at you. And that is what you're paid for. Yeah. You're not paid for the good gigs.
And no, you're right.
You're paid for the bad gigs. And the good pros, the real good pros, can make those rooms work.
They can turn
and the average ones get found out.
It's because audiences, they don't take into account context. Because they don't quite realise this is a brilliant gig, because we're making this a brilliant gig, And if you stood in the corner of a pub next to the jukebox and Sky Sports is on and all that, and you're telling the same jokes that were smashing it the week before, and they're going to go like that. They just think you're rubbish.
The best advice I've ever had in comedy is expect nothing.
Yeah.
Expect nothing.
Yeah.
It's when you're expectant, you're in trouble.
That's it, and there's a discontinuation with what you're thinking it should be.
You're like a rabbit in the headlights.
You're playing something. You're like, this isn't actually how it's meant to be. That's why this week I got asked to do Britain's Got Talent. So the Thames TV got in contact and asking me to do it, and I did think about it, but then I just thought, you know what, the setup of that. If it goes wrong, because it's adversarial, they sat there judging and all that, if it goes wrong, then it'll just look terrible. So, third question, Alfie. Okay. Motivation for comedy. What is that? Obviously, for you, it was a big decision coming into it in your 40s, leaving a career, or putting that on hold, leaving a career that with good pension, all that, and the security of a job and a status and all that, to then go into this. That's a big decision.
Yes, but it's also my motivation, because a lot of young people come into comedy now who are straight from university, and they are teenagers, and some are very good, but there's no pressure on them. If they want to mess about for the next 10, 15 years and drift in and out of jobs and wait for a break to come along, that's great. But
they've got a luxury of that.
If I'm well into my 40s, and if I don't go back in the police, it will cost me many tens of thousands of pounds in lost pension and stuff like that. And I've left this good job behind. That's my motivation. I've not left that at 40 odd to mess about for 10 years. I've got to be head down, arse up. And I've got to go for it 100%, because my window of opportunity is much smaller than theirs, and my motivation is much greater because of what I've got behind me, and that I can go back to.
That's interesting. Yeah, there's the old necessity is the mother of invention, and you need to make this work and make this happen. So it drives your creativity and the willpower to put your foot on a pedal and drive to the other end of the country.
Yeah. So I'm 100%. It works out, or I go to a plan B.
Yeah, that's incredible. And last question, see, that's motivation for comedy. Motivation for life. What's that gets you out of bed in the morning? What's that you're passionate about?
Yeah, that's a big question, isn't it? I think there's a lot of things. Family is a massive thing in that. I think without people around you, it doesn't matter if people laugh when you're on the stage, if you go on when you're on your own, and you've not got people, to love and a family around you, then it means very little. We can't live for 30 minutes a night, can we? When we're working, we can't live for
or
that.
If we are, that's a very impoverished lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think it does enhance. Comedy enhances when you're trying to think of funny thoughts. When you're writing a lot, as I am at the minute, you're writing and you're laughing to yourself, and it picks up your mood. So you're either performing and people are laughing, you're laughing with them, or you're writing, or you're trying to think of funny thoughts. So I think that drives you and that enhances your life. It's good to laugh. It's good to laugh.
Oh, it is. It's so important, and I love that whole thing about you say about family, and that 30 minutes can't define you, because like I've found that. Being, knowing who are my people and being in, a loving family, there's a sense in which whatever happens on stage, that doesn't necessarily define me. Whether it goes well, and I'm not defined by that, or whether it goes badly, I'm not defined by that. I'm loved, and I know who are my people, who are my loved ones, and therefore that's kind of like that's almost kind of a secure base from which to go, adventure into it. But I think that's almost, for me, balanced with maybe when I'm too comfortable in life, and there's maybe not moments of pain, and I'm having too much fun. Maybe I'm not as maybe sharp on my game, because I'm just loving all of my life. And, oh, crack, I've got to go do comedy now.
Yeah, true. And going back to sort of motivation, you're right for them as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just passed all my inspector's exams, so I was waiting to get promoted, several £1,000 pay rise, enhanced pension. All I had to do was keep my head down. Now, for me to go home in my mid-40s and say to my wife, listen, I've been offered promotion at work, I've been studying the art, I've just got to keep my head down, I'm going to get a good pension, a good life, or somebody wants to sign me and take me to Edinburgh and sleeping on settees like a kid would do, and up and down the country and wearing the car out, and very, very little income and inconsistent income. What do you reckon? For my wife to say, if that's what you want to do, follow your dream.
That's incredible.
So
because she could have quite easily gone, you're just having a midlife crisis, get a 2-seater convertible.
You owe it to the people that have supported you. I mean, that's
incredible.
Not many women would have done that.
No, she's incredible. And Alfie's just been on in here in Gainsborough. He's absolutely smashed it. You made the right decision, Alfie.
Thank you. That's nice of you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.